Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Shabbat Shem Kakodash. Giving all praise to Yahweh Shem Shabbat Shem Kakodash. And I'm going to entitle this video, The One West Influence. And strangers in Isaiah chapter 14. Anyway, I came across this video. The group is 12 Gates Israelites, group of Edomite devils mocked and scoffed the messengers of the Lord. And I noticed they had, this was put up about a week ago on the 12th of this year. 10,000, over almost 11,000 views, and a whole bunch of comments. So I clicked on their page, and they had set up this page, this YouTube page, 2 years ago, back in 2020. So I was listening to this before I did all this checking, and I said, you know, the first thing that came to my mind was they kind of have a like a Sakari like vibe to them. I said maybe they're part of Sakari under this particular name, but normally they have Sakari 12 Gates. So maybe they, so I'm positive that they watched videos on YouTube of Sakari, ISUPK, IUIC, ISUP, GMS, and all the other different groups, GOCC, whatever, HODC, whatever, and they studied the videos, and they kind of said, look, let's get together, you know, start going out to speaking. And you can see here, if I'm not mistaken, this is from the IUIC, that's their sign of the 12 tribes. So they got the various signs out there. They got the whole, like, One West hookup, you know. Now, am I knocking them? No, because I don't, this is the first, I only listened to a couple minutes of this video. I mean, I did notice they have long hair. There's another individual that has long hair. But what jumped out at me. Oh, before I go on, let me say this. I just finished watching the video that Gabar Yahweh put up out of Hawaii. And he said his 4-year-old daughter had a vision pretty much of the kingdom. Now, this made me think of another brother that had a daughter that had a vision. I believe she was either 3 or 4 years old. And she saw an image on his, Amawang Gabar is his name, by the way, up and coming elder from the main camp. There's a lot of good videos. Anyway, she said that she saw a picture of what's our take on what Yahweh Shai might have looked like. You know, when you see the pictures of the so-called Black Jesus, we're not saying that's Jesus or Yahweh Shai. We're saying that he might have looked something like this. So-called dark-skinned Black man. I use the word term Black. Who had a woolly hair. And don't listen to this clown, vocab Malone. Oh, the woolly hair. It's not Revelation 1, where it speaks about the Lord, his head and his hair. It says his head and his hairs were white like wool, meaning he was white. The Lord's not going to come down with the curse of leprosy on him. Okay? And if you can't deal with that scripture, go to Numbers 12 and 10. Leprosy is a curse. Is a terrible curse. And that's the curse that was put on Cain. He was cursed with leprosy. He didn't have an X on his head. Anyway, if you go to that's Colossians, I believe it's 1:15. I'm not going to go to it. Somebody can put it up there. I'm almost positive it's chapter 1, verse 15, or chapter 2, verse 15. I know it's got to be chapter 1, verse 15. As a matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to it real quick. But the main topic I'm going to get into is Isaiah chapter 14 and 1, where it speaks about the strangers, and they went a little off on that. I mean, it's no big deal. The scriptures say that we all speak the same thing. Now, I remember when you read it, Isaiah 14, you know what? I'm jumping around too much. I'm sorry. Let me do this. Bring this over here. Let me go to Colossians 1. Should read it from 13. Incomparable Messiah. Christ in Hebrew is Messiah. Christ, Christos, just means one that's anointed or chosen. From the Hebrew Messiah or Mashiach, which means uh, christened or anointed or chosen. And we are the anointed too, because we were christened, anointed, and chosen. Who have delivered us from the power of darkness and have translated us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption. Redemption means to buy back. When you go to Deuteronomy 28:68, it says, and no man shall buy you. It means no man shall redeem you, buy you back. But ultimately, we are going to be redeemed when the Lord comes back now. It says, in whom we have. Give me a second. Give me a second. Anyway, so it says here, in whom we have redemption through his blood. It's talking about Israel. When it speaks about Gentiles, it's talking about Israelites and the Gentile state of mind, even the forgiveness of sins. What does the word sin mean? It means the law, keeping the law. When you, I'm sorry, breaking the law. It literally means Mr. Mark, who is the image of the invisible power, which is his father, the firstborn of every creature. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in the earth, visible and invisible. Now go back to Genesis 1 verse 1, St. John 1 verse 1. It said, who is the image of the invisible power? The who's talking about Yahweh Shai. The invisible power is talking about the Father in the spiritual realm, which he showed himself to Daniel as a so-called black man. Let's look up the word image real quick. I'm not going to make this too long. Yeah, these small hats are running scared because the truth is coming out. Reason why they against this guy, Kanye, is because he's bringing out the truth. And all these jakes are distancing themselves from him because they know, but they want to stay in good with the small hats. That's why all you jakes in the entertainment business, in the sport world, and the, you know, you multi-billionaires, Oprah and all y'all all know the truth. Y'all all know the truth, and you answer to the small hats. And the Most High is going to get rid of you and the small hats. Okay, so let me see. The word here is it means an image, figure, likeness, an image of a thing, use of the moral likeness of renewed man to God, the image of the Son of God, into which the true Christians are transformed, one in the likeness of one, anyone is seen. So when you go to Daniel chapter 79, it tells you that the Lord was sitting on the throne and he had a big fro and a beard. The hairs of his head like the pure wool. And so the Father looked just like the Son. John 14, the Lord told Philip, he that seen me have seen the Father. So I look just like my Father. So the heavenly Father is a so-called black man. His beloved Son came on the earth as a so-called black man. If the Most High was to come on earth, the Father, he would come in a body and show himself as a man. He would show himself as a so-called black man among so-called black people. So, you know, if you want to listen to Vocab Malone and his rhetoric, go right ahead and be destroyed, because you are going to be destroyed. Anyway, let me let you hear this. I'm not going to make this long. I got to get out of here. Let me go right here to hear the statement. Like I said, and I'm gonna get back to the story of the brother daughter having a dream. As a matter of fact, let me say that basically she had a dream, 4 years old. Basically, she saw the king. They were in the kingdom of heaven. So that was clearly a vision. The scriptures say, out of the mouth of babes. We are babes, spiritual babes, but out of the mouth of actual babes. Suffer the little children to come unto me. So the Most High deals with the children. What does it say in Acts 2? What does it say in Joel 2? They shall see visions, they shall have dreams. Your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall have dreams, your young men shall see visions. And that's what's happening to confirm that we those people. This man is done. This motherfucker is done. You see what happened over there in England, Great Britain, and they ain't so great no more. I don't even know her name. It was a woman that they put up in there, and I said, man, she come on, she's an insider. She broke a record for being the shortest prime minister in the history of Great Britain or the UK. 44 days. They said, man, we don't want this bitch up in here. And then she had to make that statement, and she got out. She's out of there. This place is crumbling, man. It says the scriptures speak about them being in straits in Job chapter 20, them being in straits. So let me let you listen to this. I'll go into some precepts and then I'm gonna be out of here.
Revelation chapter 18 and verse 6. And it reads, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her work. In the cup that she hath filled, fill for her double. So in other words, the Lord is saying, the cup that your people made us drink, all the slavery, all the murder, all the atrocities that you guys have projected onto us.
Oh, and for us saying stuff like this, that you're going into slavery because of what y'all did to us, we're a hate group. How the fuck can we be a hate group when we're looking for justice? Scriptures say eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, life for life, burning for burning, death for death. When you go to court, if a man that's married to a woman kills the woman, the parents and the family is going to say, "You motherfucker, burn in hell." Well, that's hate, but is it justifiable hell? You goddamn right, it's justifiable hate or indignation because you committed a crime against one of their loved ones. I let him burn in it. That's what Esau says. Esau play that Christian bullshit and show you a picture of Caesar Borgia and all you niggas out there that's still following this so-called white man. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai bring death and destruction upon every last one of you niggas, all right? And then there's certain Israelites out there that know that the Israelites are the wicked as hell. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Shalak Rayam Wa'ashim Wa'abadim Wa'haragim Wa'inashim I thought. And you know who I'm talking about. They're going to be destroyed in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai, not in the name of fucking Jesus. Motherfucker, goddamn Jesus. Let's listen to some more. I'm getting a little, excited right about now.
Judgment is coming, and it is a just judgment. I'm going to show you another
one. But we're a hate group. See, these guys are a hate group. No, we're a truth group. We're a love group. We love our people. If you have a family and your daughter gets killed, and you find out who did it, and you got a gun or whatever, you want to kill that guy. And a lot of times that happens, and they'll let the guy go. They'll let the guy go because the guy killed his daughter. He killed the guy, and they'll find a way to get him out of there. Why? Because that's called indignation, righteous judgment, justifiable judgment. Everything that we're going to do when we put your ass in slavery is going to be pursuant to indignation, righteous judgment, righteous anger. So you're done. You're fucking done. And you know who runs everything when you criticize everybody and one group comes on you with holy hell, unholy hell. That's the group that runs everything. That's why Ye, he said they run everything. And what I mean by that is not the average small hat. We're talking about the ones that are in positions happen to be of the small hat persuasion. So it's coming. So the truth is coming out, man. The truth is coming out. And the truth is that we are the Israelites. And there ain't a damn thing you can do about it, Vocab Malone, by yourself. The crew, that little motley crew you got, don't come with the spirit that you got. You come with that spirit, you nonstop. So I give that to you, but you're nonstop by yourself. That's like bringing a pea shooter to a nuclear war. You're losing. You're lost. You lost already. You lost. Give it up. Turn it loose. Your kingdom is done. Ye shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall be against him. That word wicked, you got to go into the Hebrew to understand that word wicked in Job. I'm quoting Job 20. Let's listen to a little bit more.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 16. And it reads, and he that stealeth a man, were we stolen and brought to a land that doesn't that we didn't identify ourselves as? Are we really American? Or were we forced to be called American? Why do we have our slave master's last name? Why do we have a social security number placed on us by a system that has done nothing but corruption? The Bible says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him. Were we bought and sold on auction slave blocks? Yes, we were. Or if he be found in his hand, are we still in the land of our captive? Yes, we are. He shall surely be put to death. This is what the judgment of the Lord is. Yes, judgment is going to come, and it will not be escaped. Give me Isaiah 14 from the top. Yeah, 14 from the top. Your people have done enough talking. Every time you guys open up your mouth, poison comes out. Lies and deception. You guys came over here and made 500 peace treaties with the Native Americans, shook their hand, and then stabbed them in the back and took all their land and resources. We don't want to hear what you got to say. Go ahead. The book of Isaiah, chapter 14, and verse 1. Bring it out. For the Lord.
Yeah, Esau don't got enough. Sometimes we'll let them say stuff just to trap them. We don't gotta listen to a damn thing you gotta say. All right. The evidence is overwhelming. The receipts are stacked a mile high. We got a mountain of receipts, evidence on your ass. This is the sentencing phase. You already been found guilty. You lost your right to allocution. Look that up. Don't ask me, what does that mean, brother? Look it up. Look it up, nigga. You lost your right to allocution. Hope I'm saying it right.
Will have mercy on Jacob. The Lord says he's going to have mercy on Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans. Read. And will yet choose Israel. Will yet choose who? Israel. Will yet choose the Israelites. This is what God has declared. This is his decision. He said he's going to have mercy on the house of Israel and choose the Israelites. Read. And set them in their own land. He's going to take us back home. He's going to take us back to where we are from, the land of Israel. We are not from America. We were brought over here as hostages, as captives. Read. And the strangers shall be joined with them. You guys are going to be with us. The Bible says you're going to be joined with us, but how are they going to be joined with us? And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. You're going to cleave to us, just like you guys made us cleave to you, just like you guys are making us cleave.
That's all I wanted. Now, so like I said, High Priest Ariah and the seven used to say that the strangers are talking about other nations. The fact that they're calling the South Christians and small hats, that's it. That's what that means. No, it does not mean that. So let's go to the word. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 14. 1. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob. Ultimately, the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, another name for Israel, and will yet ultimately choose Israelites. So ultimately, it's talking about all the 12 tribes, because all the tribes are going to come back together. The two kingdoms are going to come back together and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. The strangers are talking about the ones that like we came up at in the one west, right? So we went out there. A lot of our teachers, the seven, they're not teaching. Only one guy's teaching, Mr. Lahab. He's going off on a lot of things, and he's doing it for money. Filthy Lucas say he says that Edomites can make it. You know, if you say, well, when did he say that? I ran into him. I heard him say it. It was said that he said that, and I ran into him. I ran into him a couple of times. I ran into him the last time I ran into him. I was making a U-turn and I saw him and he waved at me. I waved at him. I kept going because I was in the middle of something. And the time before that, I came face to face to him and I asked him, do you believe that Edomites and other nations could make it? He said, yeah, if they get right with the Lord. And I said, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. Said a few more words. I went my way. He went his way. So he's not teaching right. So none of the seven are teaching. None of the seven are teaching. So who's teaching in their stead? We are. So back then they used to say that the strangers talking about other nations, not talking about that. And how do we prove that? Let's just go to the word stranger. It's like a basic This is basic information. The word is gar. Sojourn, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights. When you go to the law of the stranger, that's talking about an Israelite that was out of the land of Israel. Their parents moved out, they had kids, they had grandkids, great grandkids, and then the great great grandkids come for, let's say, the Passover, one of the 3 days of the year. And they decide, you know what, we want to live back in our land, which they call the right of return. So what they have to do is they got to find out what tribe you're from. Are you from the tribe of Benjamin? Okay, we're going to go to the land of Gilead, which is the land of Benjamin. Correct me if I'm wrong. And we're going to give you a plot of land. This is your plot of land. And you don't have to pay for it because that's your right. Of foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights. Because they'll always have that right. So the small hats know that these jakes that are over there in Dimona, they claiming that, you know, they're the people, but but the way Esau breaks it down is a stranger is anybody. So now you got, look at these precepts, almost 100 precepts. But this is the main one I'm going to go to. I'm not going to read all of these. Because let's say this is talking about actual strangers. Then anybody could ask for our land, or a plot of our land. I'm going to go right to, bear with me for a minute. See, Isaiah 14. I believe this is it. Either the 22nd verse or the 23rd verse. Ezekiel 47 verse 22. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you and the strangers that sojourn among you. Who are those strangers? The Israelites that, like, for example, Acts the 2nd chapter, the Pentecost. It said that you had Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven, meaning they were living in other lands. So the biggest group that came to the Passover, to Jerusalem, was Alexandria. You probably had 1 million Alexandrian Israelites. They would come 3 times in a year, and they would go make their trek back to Egypt. And they didn't go back in ships, all right? They would caravan, however they went back, because you don't have to go through no body of water to get to Egypt if you pull up a map. So coming back to Isaiah, Deuteronomy 28:68, we will go back in Egypt in ships. It ain't talking about actual Egypt. It's talking about the new Egypt, spiritual Egypt, Sodom and Egypt, Revelation 11. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot. A lot is a piece of land, like Washington, right? Before they set up the capital of Washington, right? DC, the District of Columbia, which has nothing to do with the United States. It's 3 states, which down in that area, Jake, everybody calls it DMV. Delaware, was it Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia, and that's what the DC is. It's 3. They got 3 states. They got a 10 square miles of those 3 states. Like you have the Pentagon is in Langley, Virginia. The Washington, I believe somebody could help me. But anyway, that it's not a state. It's like a corporate state or a city state. That's why there's no governor in DC, because it's not a state. You know, it's a city state. And if it's a city, it only can have a mayor. That's the seat of government, Satan's seat in Revelation. Okay, so before they built DC up, it was a swampland, marshes and swamp. And what they did was it was cut up into lots. Do you know what lot DC is built on? Lot 666. Do the research. Good luck trying to find the shit, because it used to be out there. I used to be able to go to Google and find it. You can't find it no more. Go back to when before DC was built. It was a bunch of marshes and it was set up as lots. So there's a reason why it happened to be built on lot number 666. The people of the land have used, I'm sorry, let me read this again. And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot, meaning the land of Israel, for an inheritance unto you. Inheritance really represents land first. You get a plot of land, you build on that land. Unto you and to the strangers, the Israelite foreigners. So that's what Isaiah 14:1 means. The strangers shall cleave unto thee, that sojourn. Go back to Acts 2. Among you, which shall beget children among you, and they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel, because they're Israelites. Even though for several generations they lived outside of Israel, they shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel, because they're one of the tribes. So what does this word stranger mean? H 16 and 16, that means an Israelite living in a foreign land. And we're all strangers. We're all H 16:16. 23rd verse. Let's see what that says. And I'll close. And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourneth, let's say they sojourn among the Gadites. Well, they have a relative that they obviously know that they're Gadites. So they're going to be closer to Gad than Judah, maybe. There shall ye give him his inheritance, saith the Lord. So first of all, we got to find out what tribe you're from. And then we'll go, okay, so you was on the tribe of Asher, so we're going to go to the land of Asher, and we're going to give you this plot of land. And you build on it. And then the way you built was you build a house and you build a farm around it. We tend to sheep, which are farmers. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.